get some positive focuses going on. What are you feeling good about this week? I want 3 volunteers. Let's think about this past week, either business or personal, or if you want to give somebody a shout out. We love shout outs. Now's the time to give some recognition. What do you got, Blanca? Talk to us.
Because they stepped up to the plate for the open house, and us 3 girls were not, and it was hot, talking about a hot day, but we connected with so much community and neighbors, and the feedback was great. And then it showed at the open house, a lot of the neighbors came by and they were rocking and rolling, and my client gave very good feedback on the professionalism of the girls, and he was very thankful as well. So
Awesome.
and
Awesome.
Too. Yeah.
Good stuff, guys. Let's give it up. Teamwork, hustle. Let's go.
Saturday, the girls had 16 to 20 groups come by, and then 6 or 7 on Sunday. I bailed on John a little early because he was able to handle it. So I just maybe half of the shift, and then everything came like I left, which was good. So he connected with some good buyers.
About 25 people.
Yeah.
Wow. Good turnout. Good turnout. Good stuff, guys. What else do we have? Positive focus, shout outs, business, personal. If you're at home and your camera is off, please turn your camera on if you can. I would appreciate it. Just like to make sure no one's robbing you or anything like that. If you're committing a crime, leave your camera off.
I would like to talk about for my mentors, Patrick, Shri, and of course Blanca and Asif. I've been learning a lot of things from them. But recently I've been working closely with Patrick and Shri. As Patrick told you guys, we did got a listing, but it was a tough nut to crack. We've been behind this lead for 2 months, and finally we got it. And the lady did mention that she really liked me being so patient with her.
Yeah.
And if at all she wanted to sell her house, she really wanted us to do it for her.
Well,
and the lead came as a buyer actually, and we turned it into double deal.
let's go. Let's give it up for that.
The land at first or selling land?
The mountain house.
Mountain house, okay.
Yeah. And she's been helping me like anything for the lead. Hopefully I'll give you the good news on Thursday.
All right, let's go. Let's go. What's one thing you learned from that, right? Like, because you've been with us for a few months now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
You've been putting in a lot of work,
Yes.
and now you're starting to see some stuff,
Yep.
right? So what's one thing maybe you can speak upon of just how patient you have to be as an agent, right?
Yes,
And like your
that is-
expectations of what it takes.
First, I will like to mention in September, I shadowed Blanca and Patrick on my first open house.
Mhm.
And I saw Blanca nicely dressed with good heels, but still she was cleaning the house. And I was like, my God, this is what a real estate agent has to do too. And
Yeah.
I was like, that was awesome for me to see that you have to be ready to do everything that it comes your way
Yeah.
to do the work that you need to do.
Yeah.
And Shri, Patrick, and even Asif always pushed me like, okay, you can do it. Don't be, Patrick knows I get very anxious quickly. He's like, just take a breath. And
Yeah.
she would tell me all the good things, whether to go at some place or not to go. Asif would be behind me like, okay, you can do this. Why you are not on Zillow call? So just get it done with.
Yeah.
So everyone taught me in their different ways, but I always felt I was my biggest hurdle.
Mm.
I always thought, okay, maybe I won't be able to do it. But when I dropped that, that's when the learning happened.
Yeah. I love that. That's a good realization right there.
Yeah.
That's a powerful statement. I realized I was my biggest hurdle.
Yes.
Right? Because you have the tools, you have the training, you have the people around you, all these things, but sometimes we get in our own head, right?
And you too, Jason and Enrique. Every time I would call and message, I remember my first 2 months, I'll be like on text every day with Jason. Jason, how to do this, how to do that. I was just trying to learn many things at one go, but everybody helped me in this.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, what I love about that though is that you put yourself out there. You made the calls, you did the open houses. You're being coachable, right? And then when you had a situation, you weren't afraid to reach out.
Yeah.
And now you're getting that traction. So it's great to see. Congratulations.
Yeah, let's go. One more time. Oh. Let's go. Let's go. All right. I need one more volunteer. Positive focus. What are you feeling good about today? Could be something small. Could be something big. Could be a shout out. What is it? Talk to me. Somebody at home. Let's go. Somebody at home. Somebody online. What are you feeling good about? Positive focus.
I think I'm in.
Ramiro, talk to us. What's
Yeah.
up, brother? Introduce yourself really quick for people that haven't met you, and then tell us your positive focus.
Hi, my name is Ramiro. I switched over from Killer Williams. I'm working on the switch right now, trying to do everything correctly. And I mean, everybody, Enrique, Jason, Michael, James, all the other people that helped me on the initial calls, and then right now through the emails. And then what I just heard, like everything's really encouraging as far as the follow through with the team declaration. For the family, like I've had a lot of jobs. I played on a lot of teams. I've done a lot of things. I've heard that trope of family and support, and that's literally all I see. So it's very encouraging.
Let's go. Awesome. Welcome, Ramiro. It's good to see you now in person, but looking forward to getting started with you and seeing how we can help you grow your career, man. Let's give it up.
Thank you. Yeah, and I'm really excited to work potentially with whoever on the team, everyone. The process, like it sounds like it's a really fun go for everybody.
Absolutely. Awesome. Good stuff, man. Thanks for sharing. Let's go. We have another guest in the house. You want to introduce yourself really quick? 10-second introduction. Nothing.
Hi, Kathy Rusick, coming you. I'm an independent broker, and I'm at a place in my life that I want to kind of really ramp up my real estate, but being alone is hard. So I came in because of everything you guys offer, and real estate has changed so much. I've been doing this for, oh my God, close to 25, 30 years, and it keeps changing and evolving, and AI is now in, and paid leads, and just my little sphere of influence isn't what it should be. And so I just feel like this is a really good jumping off point for me to kind of really ramp up my career and have the support that I really would like to have. And again, change a little bit of my education and realize, things evolve and change all the time. So I'd like to be part of that as well.
Awesome. Welcome, Kathy. Yeah, and we're definitely looking forward to how you can contribute to the team as well. Like, you come from a wealth of knowledge, and there's stuff that I'm sure we're going to be able to learn from you. So we've had the opportunity to get to know Kathy over the last couple of weeks, and now we're getting a transition to come on board with us. So welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see what happened to my. Let's go into. Wait, do I have any other guests? Am I missing anybody? Would anybody like to reintroduce themselves? Anybody? Luis, come on, reintroduce yourself, bro. Let's go. Luis, come on. Tell us who you are and why you're here, Luis. Come on, stand up, bro. Let's go. Luis called me yesterday. He's working on a potential buy and sell, right? A listing and a purchase. So he's been grinding, having some success, and building some momentum. So let's give it up for Luis, guys. Let's go. Thanks for volunteering, Luis. All right, guys, let's look at some of the housekeeping stuff here. We're going to pull up this worksheet. All right, where are we at, guys, for year to date? So far we're at a little over 30 million closed and pending. And then we got about 8 listings active and coming soon, just shy of about 10 million, guys. So we're definitely picking up some momentum as we've looked at over the last couple of weeks. I mean, just this past week, a few deals that went into contract. And so for the month, we got 11 deals that went pending, 2 signed listings, and the month is not even over yet, right? And so we still got some time, at least another week, to put some stuff in contract. Just by a show of hands, who has things that they're working on right now, like potential listings or buyers that they're writing offer for that is close, right? Anybody at home, raise your hand. So we got a lot of stuff, guys. I mean, we're definitely starting to feel that momentum of the spring, right? We're officially in spring now, right? And so I just do want to reiterate, we'll talk about that a little bit more, of us keeping this momentum, and how are we going to continue to keep that momentum throughout the peak months that we have, right? I've had several conversations with, some of our agents and the agents that I coach with regularly, and it's like they're busy, right? And it's a gift and a curse, right? Like, I'm busy, I'm tired, but I got stuff, but I'm blessed. But how do we keep that going? Or how do we take advantage of it right now? Because there may be some months where it's not as busy, right? Or things aren't as much in our favor. So we gotta double down, guys, and do what we can. So let's look at the inventory as well. We always want to keep a pulse of what's happening on the inventory side. And so Santa Clara County, right? We obviously service more counties, but I like to pull up Santa Clara County since it's our main one. You can see the inventory has continued to rise, guys. 1208 single family homes right now on the market, 930 for townhouse and condo, right? Just a couple weeks ago, you could see where those numbers were at 946. Now we're at 1208, 753. Now we're at 930. So every single week that we've seen so far, the inventory is continuing to rise, right? And then the amount of pendings have been trending upward as well, right? So this week we're at 663 pending on single family, 323 for townhouse and condo. And so what does that mean to us, guys? Is like more people are starting to list their homes for sale, more buyers are coming out and starting to buy, right? And so if you have leads right now that you're talking to, like, we got to be hitting those up, right? We got to be looking for the activity. Mark, you and I had a conversation yesterday, right? Just some strategy right now. Can you maybe share a little bit about kind of the strategy we went into?
So personally, I have very limited time to save right now. I have to work from maternity leave starting tomorrow, and my strategy has kind of been spread very thin. So I feel like I haven't been able to target maybe like the low hanging fruit in my pipeline, and like I have a listing that's supposed to be coming to the market in a week or two. So to kind of like re-strategize how I'm focusing my limited time that I have for real estate on, you know, targeted calls in my CRM for people who are active, or focusing on how do I get my active listing on the market and transition that person into a new home, and just really focusing my energy on stuff that's probably hotter now versus like more of a cold call type of prospecting.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you think about it, right, like Mark and I had a coaching call yesterday, and I'm like, we got to look at, like, you got to do the best with what you got, right? Like he has a baby, right? So there's dynamics changing at home, wife's going back to work. That's going to create some challenges. I'm like, but with the time you do have, rather than maybe like, because we were thinking about starting a farm or something right now, right? That's one of his long-term goals. Rather than doing that, what do you have right in front of you already that you can go after, right? And so that was kind of the approach that we're looking at. And I pulled up his leads, and I'm saying this so you guys can do the same thing with yours. I pulled up all the leads he had, and I filtered who's been the most active in the last 14 days, right? I think you had close to like 200 leads, but 30 of those leads have been on the website clicking on properties in the last 14 days. So rather than me calling all 200 of his leads, I'd rather him focus his limited time on those 30 that are clicking on stuff and coming to the website multiple times, right? That's how we're going to be more targeted, right? Rather than him starting a farm right now, I said, hey, maybe in 6 months we start the farm, right? Still a great idea, but let's focus on like the listing that you have right now, that we got to do a couple things to get that onto the market, right? And so I want you guys to start thinking like business owners, right? The good thing is we have a lot of stuff, but then sometimes that's the bad thing, that we have a lot of stuff. Would you guys agree, right? Because sometimes it's like, well, what do I focus on? There's so many ways to do real estate. There's so many ways to get deals. If you go talk to other agents, they're going to tell you this way works better than the other. But what you guys always have to look at first before you explore any outside options is, what do I have in front of me right now that I can tap into? That's the low-hanging fruit. Because we want deals now, right? We don't want deals in a year, right? Raise your hand like if you want more deals within the next month or two, right? Raise your hand. I know I do, right? And so those are the things that I want to encourage you guys, right? Even for our loan officers, right? If you have pre-approvals that came in within the last 6 months and they haven't bought yet, rather than going and trying to host an open house to generate more leads, I'd rather you focus your time on calling those pre-approvals, because those are people who already raised their hand. And so now what I want, hopefully I'm getting your guys' wheels turning. I want you guys to start thinking, well, who are the low-hanging fruit right now? And if we look at the lowest hanging fruit, it's going to be someone that came to an open house, right? Someone that went online and demonstrated some sort of activity by clicking on something, submitting a question, something like that. Someone who hit you up in the DMs, or someone that you've already met with that maybe put things on hold, and maybe now the timing could be different, right? But if you're not touching those people first, then I wouldn't spend my time cold calling for more leads, or I wouldn't spend my time door knocking strangers, or trying this new marketing thing to try to generate more stuff when I already got people in front of me. You guys follow what I'm trying to say, right? And so like with Mark, you know, that's the coaching we're focusing on. And I'm like, dude, there's got to be at least 1 or 2 deals in those 30 people that are constantly on the website, right? And so hopefully Mark puts that in action, which I know he will. And then we'll see, like in the next couple of weeks, I'm sure something's going to pop up from that, right? Any questions, guys, on like what your strategy should be right now? Or does anybody have any questions on any specifics, like what they're going through or any challenges? Because this would be a good time for us to just kind of open up and discuss some of those things.
No, I want to add something. What you guys think about that is, I mean, we can do, obviously on Wednesday, I can show you guys where the low hanging fruit's at. I don't know if you just want to pull it up really quick and just pull up, like everyone's leads, go to like the last visit within the last 10 days.
Yep.
And you'll see, I just did it right now. There's over 530 people within the last 10 days that have actively been on our site, right? Or actively been looking at property.
Yeah.
So I think, and if you don't know how to do that, right? If you don't know how to work the CRM, that's a great opportunity for you guys to jump in on my Wednesday call. I will go ahead and go through your pipeline and show you where that low hanging fruit's at. But I know Enrique can kind of just.
Yeah. So this is what you can do, right? You can go to, I'm just looking at, these are all of these. We have close to 50,000 leads in our database, just FYI, right? We have a lot of leads. If I just go to filters and I go to last activity, less than 14 days ago, there's 732 people that have been active on our site in the last 14 days. That means they've clicked on property, they're doing stuff like that, right? And so you guys can do those on an individual basis for your leads. And that's what we did with Mark's, right? Out of his 200 leads that he had, there was like 30 of them that are going. And then when you start clicking on the lead and you start looking at their history, you can see like, man, this guy's on there like an hour ago and he looked at this property 4 times. So if someone looked at a property 4 times an hour ago, what should you do? What should the next step be? You call them, right? What would you call them and say, Luis? There you go. Simple as that, right? Hey, it's Luis. Remember me? Saw you online. Saw you looked at 123 Main Street 2 or 3 times. Want to see if you want to take a look at that one today or tomorrow or this weekend, right? And then naturally what's going to happen, right, is they're going to say yes, they're going to say no, they're going to whatever. But then now it's an opportunity for you to now see where they're at with that process, right? Hey, it looks like you're pretty active. Are you guys back in the market? I know you guys put things on hold a couple months ago, right? And if you do that enough times, right, if you have 20 or 30 that you can call, someone's going to say yes, right? And so you want to look at behavior, right? You want to look at behavior. What are people doing that are demonstrating buying or selling signals, right? If someone keeps looking at your home evaluation, right? Because we have the seller tool as well. Call them. Be curious. Hey, what made you look at that? Hey, do you have any questions, right? What are you guys' plans? What are your thoughts? But those are things that we can do immediately, right? Just go into your people and filter activity less than 14 days. And then what you can do is, I would start with 14 days because that's the lowest probably hanging fruit. That's within the last 2 weeks. But let's say you don't have many, then go to 21 days. And now if I go to 21 days, I have 965, right? Now if I go 30 days, there's over 1,000, right? If someone's been active on the site within the last 30 days, is that someone worth calling, right? I would. And if anything, you'll find out where they're at, right? Whether they're active, they're not, or maybe it's a nurture, or maybe you get an update on their timeline. Hey, I'm not really active now, but I will be in 3 months. Great. Why don't I call you in 2 months and then we'll start planning. But now you're moving your people forward, right? So this is something that we should be doing on a daily, weekly basis before we're out trying to chase new leads, right? Because the problem we run into is we get new leads and then we throw them into a pile of leads that are already messy and we're not following up with, right? Once you got a couple hundred leads, guys, you have enough in there that you can cycle through. Any questions?
I just want to add too, just don't hold on to leads that you're not going to call, guys, please.
Yeah.
If you're not going to call the leads, just release them to the pond so that when they do make some activity, they raise their hand, they get shot out to the FTC. Right? So just keep that in mind. If you have leads that you're not calling or you can't call because you're overwhelmed or busy, put them back into the return lead pond so that we can put them back in the rotation for you guys.
Absolutely.
And you guys will be alerted. If someone raises their hand, you guys will be alerted so then you can take that opportunity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Let's talk about, I wanted to talk about the couple deals that we got in contract this past week. Some of you guys signed listings. Some of you guys got buyers in contract. Some of you guys got buyers and sellers that you guys picked up. And I want you guys to maybe give me just a quick background, how you got that lead. Maybe what do you think made the difference in you moving that deal forward to get them from, just lead to client? And maybe if you can give us a little insight, any challenges or anything that you navigated through, because I think it's important for us to all kind of hear that, right? If you're having success right now or a recent opportunity of success, it's great for us to kind of pick your brain and, what are some things that I got to look out for when I'm talking to my people, right? So who wants to volunteer? Who got a deal on contract this past week? Blanca, we're calling on you. You just volunteered. Blanca, tell us about your client. You just got a contract. Where's the property? Where'd the lead come from? And then just give us a quick rundown on, what do you think made the difference in moving that one forward?
Actually, it was 2 leads.
Oh, two.
2 leads. And my lender is Steve on both. And both have been in our system for at least a year.
Okay.
One of them 2 years and one of them 1 year.
Okay.
We started actively looking with the family, one of my families, and we were getting just outbid. We were missing the mark, and there's a specific school district that they want to stay in, so we weren't able to land it. So we continued, and then life changes. She got laid off, and now just got another relocation of her employment, and staying in touch and top of mind and sending things throughout these couple months. And they were finally like, okay, we're back in, let's revisit. The first thing I did though, before we went out shopping, was revisit the numbers with Steve, because rates changed, down payment, strategy. I wanted to make sure they were in tune with their current financial situation. I wasn't sure if anything had changed. Luckily, things got better and somewhat, and they were able to move forward. And then a property pops up in the area that they were looking for, that they really want to stay in. And it was late in the evening, and they were like, can we go? And I'm like, yeah, let's go. So we went and toured it. They loved it. I had already connected with the agent. The agent had already, I sold myself to the agent and sold Steve before I even knew if they were going to want to submit an offer. And we went and toured it, and then they were ready to submit the offer. And it's on my anniversary day. And I promised my husband we were going to go to Half Moon Bay right after he got off of work to have dinner. And we're both working from home, and they called me and they're like, hey, can we go and tour one more time? I'm like, sure, tomorrow. What time tomorrow? They're like, we're really busy this weekend. We only have time today. And I'm like, today? And I'm repeating everything she's saying. And she's like, 5:30. I'm like, 5:30 today? Just go for it. I'm like, okay. I'm like, yeah, we'll be there. All excited because I wanted to obviously accommodate. Long story short, we go, we visit. They were hosting an open house when we were there, and touring went great. I said, you guys think about it. I'm not pressuring or doing anything. And then Steve's on the chat at that point, because I'm like, Steve, they're going to move forward. And then they text me, they're like, we're ready to go forward. So we strategized. We got a credit for the rate buy down, which was great. We're doing a 25-day close, and in the area that they want, at the price point they want. So they're super excited. So we're a year and something months later in our journey, and it's a referral from Andrea and Steve. So super excited. A really nice family, and they're going to stay in the school district they want for the kids. They know all about it. So literally, it's like a couple houses down from where they're currently renting. Yeah. So that's
Awesome.
one. And then our second one, Bertha.
Okay, let's stop right there though. Let's go one, right? Because I think for the sake of this exercise, right?
Just one more question. How long was the property on the market?
Oh,
Couple days.
I just want to make sure
Yeah.
no one heard.
Yeah.
When you go to buy down.
Couple days on the market, right?
couple days, and they wanted to wait for the open house weekend, and I was pressuring her because they countered us, and I met with my clients, and the counter was like doable, and I'm like, we're in, guys, let's send it back so we could secure it. They're still hosting open house. So then I send it back, and she's like, you're good to go, Blanca. We're gonna move forward. I said, I need it in my inbox because I'm gonna send it to Steve. And she's like, is he working on the weekend? I said, absolutely. Get on it. So I did put a little bit of pressure, and we got it at midnight. So
At midnight. Let's go. Well, let's give it up for that story. Okay. Now, my question to all of you hearing that, right, is we see the, how she got that, but what stood out to you, right? I want to break this down right now. I want to break down what are the different points that you think led to her success with this client, right? Because there's a lot of things that she did that made this happen. It's not just one thing, but I want to know from you guys. Let's just go around the room. What stood out to you, Shatal? Always put the work first, right? What else? What else stood out? Yeah.
She reached out to the agent and discussed it before she even showed it to her client. She put that report out there with the agent.
Yeah. How important is that, guys? Right? This is just that point right there. Great point you bring up, Kathy. Is she said before the client even knew we were moving forward, I was already calling the agent, selling myself, talking about my lender, talking about my client, stuff like that.
And they reached out to Steve with the clients, and Steve talked to the sellers on a conversation, on a conference call over the weekend.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Luis, what stood out to you?
I was gonna say the communication from the beginning of first getting the leads, the little hiccups that happened in between the whole process to speaking to the agent and being proactive.
Yeah.
I would say that's pretty much the communication.
All the communication, right? What else? What else stood out?
Kind of similar to that, just the nurture of the client for a long time.
Yeah. How long did it take? How long did she say it took?
Year.
About a year, right? From when she met the client, and things got put on hold or there wasn't properties that they were looking for, right?
There was lots of opportunity, but this is just to show when a client has their heart set in a certain location.
Yeah.
Because there was plenty of opportunity elsewhere, but it wasn't happening.
Yeah. So the nurture, right? The nurture, right? And that's the key to a lot of them. Like Shri, you're closing one, right? 2 years, right? 2 years, right? You've been nurturing that one and finally you're getting that one closed. But most agents give up after the first couple calls, right?
Can I ask, did you ever, because they wanted that specific location, did you ever send out to the neighborhood?
I door knocked the neighborhood,
did.
but there is very little that comes on that neighborhood, especially into the schools.
Right.
What else stood out to you guys?
What stood out to me is just a sense of urgent, I'm sorry, Matt. The sense of urgency, right? Is that you did not let this play out for the open house. You're like, hey, we need to get this thing done, right? And I think that's going to be huge in this market, especially when it becomes competitive, is that sense of urgency, being able to get Steve, being able for you guys to work on the weekend and getting your client to go ahead and commit and get the listing agent to commit over the weekend while they're doing an open house. I think that's huge.
Matt, what stood out to you, bro?
Yeah, very similar to what Jason said. Really dropping what you're doing and making it happen for the client.
Yeah. Now, are we encouraging you to cancel your anniversary date every single time? Depends. Depends, right? Depends which anniversary it is. I don't know, right? We're not trying to get anyone in trouble, but there is something to say about just having that sense of urgency when the deal is hot and the client is right there. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do to move that thing forward, right? And that goes also to setting those expectations with your significant other, right? If you're in this business and you have a significant other, they need to also know what kind of business you're in, because there's sometimes when you don't have anything going on, and then sometimes it pops up and it's when you're about to go to the movies or something, right? And so sometimes we got to drop what we're doing, or we got to be flexible to make these deals happen. And I know that's a big part of your success. And my dad, supports her in that, and she'll even bring my dad with him on like showings and stuff, because, it's like, hey, I know I'm going to be busy today, but why don't you tag along? And then my dad's over there like selling the client on why they need to move forward, right? So
I think that's a good point, though. I mean, especially if you're getting into the industry, I had to have this conversation with my wife, is that, hey, listen, she thought like I didn't like her family because I wouldn't hang out with them on the weekends, but it's not, we're building this business, right? And there's times that we're going to have to put energy into our business, especially in the beginning, and see, still you're doing it. And again, Enrique, your husband, he knows what to expect, right? And he's there with you. I think he's going to retire and get his license.
Probably.
I just wanted to say something too, because obviously I have like firsthand experience and then talking to Lorenzo and Melissa, and number one, everybody was pressuring them, like family wise, everybody was telling
Yeah.
them like, you don't have to be in this one area.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm not, like, she would not budge.
Yeah.
She was not budging. And so Blanca was very respectful of that. And she even said that yesterday, very respectful of that, where she wasn't like pushy, wasn't trying to make them move to somewhere they didn't want to be at.
Yeah.
She said, of course, like getting, like being on top of, like when she wanted to go see something, she's like, Blanca was always there. I can't believe, like, she was just so accommodating. And then Lorenzo, it was kind of funny because he was just like, I didn't like it, just like I thought it was gonna be more invasive. I thought it was gonna be like harder, but Blanca just made it like so easy. Like she had done all that work up front. So when it was time to like sign the paperwork and all this stuff, like Blanca had already like paved that road.
Yeah.
So it wasn't invasive for them to try like to be signing. So it was a really cool thing that that at least for them, they were like, I think Blanca was one of the only ones on their side on finding them the house that they wanted.
I cried at the beginning.
Is this for Lorenzo, Steve's cousin?
Yeah, Lorenzo.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
I didn't even
So
know you.
Lorenzo and Melissa.
Oh, that's even better. All right. But guys, I mean, I think it's a great point that we see just how all the dots connect to make these things successful, right? You can't have success consistently if you don't have all of these things working in your favor, right? So I want you guys to take away from everything that we pointed out and ask yourself, right? Do I have that sense of urgency in my business? Am I dropping what I'm doing when it's time to make a deal happen, right? Or am I just kind of waiting and like letting stuff slip through the cracks?
And we have contingencies.
Oh, there you go, right? Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
It's not a contingent offer.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome, right? Am I utilizing my lender to the fullest, right? Am I utilizing my lender, regardless of who the lender is, right? In this case, it's Steve, which he's awesome. But even if it's a Zillow lender, am I utilizing that Zillow lender or whoever it is to help me win and help me move that deal forward, right?
Can I, sorry. Can I-
Yeah.
I think that that's really important because sometimes, a deal will come into your lap and they're ready to move, but they haven't done the backup work. They haven't gotten through the window. They haven't done all the things that they need to. So unless you have someone fantastic who can jump in and partner up with you and move it along, and a great title company as well, but it's a support around you that makes you look better also. But then, you guys deserve as much because you're able to take the call on the weekend and do the things that you want to do and talk to them and make sure that, you're selling not just you, but the whole package. And again, sometimes you're putting the horse before the cart, but the cart's right there next to you, so it's all good.
Yes.
So it's teamwork that's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. You got anything to add, bro?
I just want to make sure that everyone knows that it doesn't have to be, you can get the buy down on any property at any point in time. There's no such thing as that you can't get it, even if the property was just on the market for 3 days, as you can see. And that's the key.
Yeah.
But it was because we spoke with the clients first, so we knew how to come in with the offer to make sure it was good enough for the sellers to accept as well.
Yeah.
And that's key.
Yeah.
So
I like that. I mean, because Steve's always preaching the buy downs, right? But now this is an example. He's like, Steve, I'm always talking about in theory, but now you see one live right here. That's happening, right? So
And he gets them all the time. I think, but good job, Steve. I think it definitely takes the lender as well, especially that situation. I mean, just Reach and I this on Saturday, 3:00. She run to write an offer. I stopped what I was doing, sent her the pre-approval, called the listing agent, but just making sure that that the lenders are available, whether it's someone on our team or like Enrique said, whether it's Zillow or that they're available to support you, because those are the things that's also going to make the listing agent comfortable, right? Knowing that, hey, look, I can pull this off the market, I can stop my open house, I have the lender, I have the real estate agent, I have the buyer, right?
Yeah.
I have all the pieces that make the deal happen. So making sure, and that's why I announced to you guys, hey, if you need access to us on the weekends, we're there for you guys. If you need us to write a pre-approval, we can send it off. Again, guys, we like the client to fill out the application, upload their documents, do all these things. But if you're in a bind and you're like, look, Jason, I did one for Sri the other day. I need this pre-approval, like I'm writing an offer right now. We'll do it. Just try not to leverage that too much. Let's go through the process of actually get them to upload their documents. But if it's at final hour, you're trying to write an offer, we will make stuff happen for you guys. right?
Yeah.
And if Steve's not available, myself, David.
There was 15 minutes actually. Thanks for the Jason. It was like I called me at 8:30 and 6 o'clock. Jason gave me the free.
15 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think 45 minutes. So if you win or not, guys, that what I realized from the transactions that client is working with me now very active.
Yeah.
This guy can pull it off in 45 minutes because of Jason.
The other thing, a big part too, guys, and then we'll move forward on this is, Blanco was committed to trying to get that deal on contract regardless of that open house going on, right? Like, just because that open house is going on doesn't mean like I pull back. She was still pushing forward. She's like, hey, I'm gonna try to make this happen. I'm in touch with the agent.
Honestly, she wants to stay in it.
Yeah.
Not a lot that goes on. And I was like, this is our chance. And if we don't succeed now, we're just gonna be spinning our wheels and we're gonna miss it.
Yeah. So being aggressive, right? Being aggressive and that sense of urgency, like I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to do what it's going to take to move that thing forward. So when you stack all those things together, that's how you have that success.
And one last thing I just want to add for Blanca, because I know we're gonna move on to something else. But Blanca got 2 in contract. One is for like well over $1 million. One's for only 400, not only, but for 400. But what I'm going with you guys is that one is a referral, right? And then one is from Zillow, right? But again, that's how she builds her business. It's from the leads that she gets or the opportunities she gets from the team. And then obviously she services the clients at a high level. So she gets referrals and then all of her own SOI. So I think that's a great way to build your business, is having your open house leads, your SOI leads, and then also the team. Yeah, great job. Okay.
Yeah. All right. One more time for Blanca.
So the whole team's on fire.
All right.
Yeah.
So really quick, what's I know we went over all the takeaways, but I just need 3 examples. What's one thing that you think you need to now implement based off what you heard off of Blanca? What's one area you feel you can improve on now that we broke down what it takes to win? Patience, patience, urgency, doing your homework. Shout them out, guys. What else? Communicating with the listing agent, winning them over, right? Early in the process, right?
And then just staying positive the whole time.
Staying positive the whole time.
Thinking there for your client, you're saying that, you're a little upset that you could go to your bathroom bay and you gotta stay positive for your client and get that face going. And that clearly shows on the reaction.
Yeah, staying positive, right?
I heard
Cool.
that
Good
she really respected the non-negotiable from her client.
Yeah, staying true to what your client needs, right? Advocating for your client, right? Fighting for, their must-haves, to make it happen, as much as you can. It's not always in our control, but we're gonna fight, right? We're gonna try to do everything we can to make it happen.
And when she mentioned something earlier, guys, that she tried to show them other areas and then she reverted back to going ahead, and going with the non-negotiable. I think it's still make that attempt and then you can always.
Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Was this helpful for you guys?
Yes.
Definitely. All right. Let's go. Mortgages. Do we have any updates on mortgages? Any announcements? Anything we need to know about the state of the mortgage economy?
I mean, well, I know, go ahead,
Steve.
No.
Buy downs. Say it again, bro.
Well, yeah, because the roller coaster of rates that we go through. I mean, 1 minute we're low rates, next minute it's jumped up a half a point.
Yeah.
So, I mean, once again, focus on affordability. What strategize with your clients, saying, look, if the rate is too high now, this is what we need to do in order to make it affordable.
Yeah.
And then set expectations. Just like with Blanca's client, we set the expectation. We know if we're gonna come in higher to get the credit we want, this is what it's gonna take. And then show them the difference in the payment.
Yeah.
That's the selling point right there.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we're saving them almost $1,000 something a month for the first year. That's huge. I don't care that's just huge.
Yes.
Getting a rate at 4.5 is probably what they're gonna have.
Yeah.
For the first year. You ain't gonna get that anywhere. But you're not gonna be able to do that if you don't strategize with them.
Yeah.
So that is the key. Leverage us to help strategize, put your clients in a better position for them to understand. And then even if they don't get it, at least we did our job and showed them the options.
Yeah.
And that's key.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think that's important, guys, just because I'm on the phone, I'm talking with some of our agents, whether they're PRG or outside agents. And sometimes we get in our own way. We feel like, oh, this client or this listing agent won't take a buy down or won't give us a credit. I think it's important for you to go ahead and at least, have that conversation, obviously with your buyer, but then also be able to educate the listing agent. Remember, the listing agent, they may not know what a buy down is or what their credit is, or how their seller can also still net more money by your strategy, right? Because it doesn't matter how much you give them, it's how much they're going to walk away with. So I think it's important for you to be able to explain it to your buyer, and then maybe get your lender on there to also explain it to your listing agent if needed.
Yeah, 100%. I think what stands out to me, what you guys are saying, guys, is always leverage the loan officer as much as possible, especially when you're in a negotiation situation. Let's say you submit an offer and they counter you back to 50 grand more. Rather than letting the client just make their decision off of a sticker price, say, hey guys, we just got a counter. Why don't we set a time to talk to the lender so we can see what this is going to look like for you? Because think about how much more effective that's going to be when you have real numbers in front of them that they can digest versus you just kind of throwing a big ticket number at them, right? And I think sometimes we make the mistake of letting clients think things through on their own without having all the detailed information and how it's going to affect their bottom line, which is the monthly payment, right? And so I would encourage you guys, every time you're in any sort of situation where the client has to make a big decision, counter offers, stuff like that, recommend let's jump on a quick call with the lender, right? I promise you'll move more people forward if you do that every single time.
Yeah, it's really, really problem solving when you're getting to those inches, guys. I was on a call with another agent where, again, we lost the offer, but there was room to say, hey, listen, maybe we could have reduced the commission and then maybe asked the commission from the buyer. Right? There's little things that you can move around where, again, we don't assume that it's not going to happen. We at least get that information, give it to the buyer, strategize, and let them make the decision if they want to move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, guys, a few more minutes, couple more things to discuss. Couple announcements, guys. So we're going to have our quarterly meeting on the 7th. So not next Tuesday, but the following Tuesday. That'll be the first Tuesday of the new quarter. Think about that, guys. Next week, this quarter is done. Q1 is done. So on the 7th, which would be not next Tuesday, but the following Tuesday, it'll be here in the office. It'll be an extended meeting from 11 to 1. So it'll be a 2-hour meeting. We'll have lunch provided as well, but it's going to be our time to really do a deep dive into our business, to see, where we're at, where we're going, reassess our goals, make any adjustments, any new initiatives that we're working on, in the next quarter and going forward. So if you haven't been to one of our quarterly meetings, I highly, highly recommend you're here. And those of you guys that are tuning in online, I highly recommend you try to be here in the office, right? If there's one meeting you should be in the office for, it's the quarterly meeting, because we do some writing exercises and stuff like that. And it's really hard for you to do that on Zoom or Google Meet. And so if you can, guys, do what you can to come out here and visit us. And it's a great way for us to also see you, right? For some of our agents that are live a little further, seeing you once a quarter in person, I don't think that's too much to ask for, right? So try to do everything you can to be here in the office. So 11 to 1, I'll send out a calendar invite, but make sure you are here, and we will have lunch, guys. Let's see. The other thing I wanted to announce was just reiterating the changes with Zillow, right? The new updates with their, what is it, like their lead allocations? I don't even know what to call it, guys. Zillow right now is making a lot of moves, they're trying to improve the process, which is fine. So we're rolling with the punches. I think we have a new rep now. We're back to AJ.
Yeah,
so
back to AJ.
Yeah.
But I think, just for as an agent, I mean, you don't mind me.
Yeah.
As an agent, I think just do what you can control, right? Which is making sure you're answering the phone, making sure you're updating the stage, making sure you're doing that proper introduction to ZHL.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to continue to figure out what they're doing and how we can win as a team. But all I ask of our agents is to continue to do the basics. Answer your phone, make sure you're updating the stages, and send that referral out to ZHL if you're going to be showing.
Yeah, they're heavily leaning on the referrals, guys, right? Like, because we have some agents that are converting at a good level, but if they're not sending pre-approvals to ZHL, they're ranking you as a low performer, right? So there's a few of you guys who are getting low performance rankings, not because your conversion, because you haven't sent anything to ZHL. And so that's now part of the package. If you want to participate in Zillow, you have to at least send some of pre-approvals over there, at least 10% of the leads you get. Now, like we said before, it's up to the client who they want to go with, but they at least want a shot at the pre-approval so that you can be in good standing. And it's playing the game, guys. It's just knowing how to work the system, right?
Did the Zillow say that Zillow's willing to lose money on the loans just so they can get their foot in the door? Yeah, I feel like that.
Yeah. I mean, they're never going to lose money. They might lose money up front. They might lose money up front, but if depending on how they're servicing the loan, they're making the interest, right? Or what I don't know what their arrangement is or how they're doing it or who they're partnering with on the back end, but
It still has to fit into their box.
has to fit into their box, right?
Say you send them everything so they can go ahead and compete.
Yeah.
I would recommend, guys, is again, just do what you can control. You guys are real estate agents, right? So give your client high level service. They don't have to close with ZHL. They're just asking that you give them a handoff that they get pre-approved. That's going to help your numbers with Zillow, is your conversion, your answer rate, updating the stages, and then you just getting a pre-approval with Zillow. Not that the client has to close with Zillow, just getting pre-approval.
Yeah, and just for clarification, is Zillow is no longer making it optional, right? It's like if you want Zillow leads, you have to do these two things. You have to convert. What percentage do we have to convert at? What's the target? No, what is it? There's two numbers we remembered last time. What was it? 5 and 10. What does the 5 mean? Okay, and then what does the 10% mean? 10% pre-approvals, right? So they want you guys converting at a 5% or higher, right? So if you get 20 leads from Zillow, you should get 1 deal in contract. That's a 5%, at least 1 or more, right? And they want you to at least get 2 pre-approvals out of 20 leads. That would be 10% of the leads you got, 2 of them got pre-approved. That's what they care about. As long as you do those 2 things, you will move to a high performer status and you will get more opportunity, right? And if you don't do that and you fall into fair or low, you will not get as many leads. That's just the bottom line, right? And so honestly, guys, I kind of like it because before, why do you think I like it, right? Why do you think I like this rule, Jason?
Well, because it rewards the people that are high producing, right?
Yeah.
You can no longer just receive leads just because you're on the team, right? It's going to prioritize the ones that are actually converting, that are following the rules. You guys hear me out, to update the stage, all this stuff, right? And I think if you're going to want to get more opportunity, that's going to be less for me to tell you guys to update the stages. You guys are going to update the stage, right? And again, guys, I know you guys. Our agents are super busy. I think you guys have tons of opportunity. And again, just so we are very clear, and Zillow makes this clear with us as well, is that you don't have to take Zillow leads if you're on our team. That's not a priority. I recommend it. I highly recommend it. But again, it does come with a little bit more accountability. But I like it because if you do the accountability that Zillow's telling you and you apply that to the rest of your business, you're gonna see your business take.
Yeah.
Right?
There's that saying, how you do one thing is how you do everything, right?
Yeah.
So if you're diligent about Zillow, well, naturally you're probably going to be diligent about your other leads, your open house leads, your referrals. If you're updating all your statuses for Zillow, you're probably going to be updating your statuses for your other leads too, right? And so I think overall, guys, it's just, they're setting the standard higher, and that's just going to make, some people rise up and some people fall off if they can't do it, right? And that's the kind of industry we're in, right?
And just to give you guys an idea, we're talking about our team, but and again, we'll get you guys more details, but it's like if there's a zip code 95148 and they're going to pull whatever agents are at a high level, those agents are going to get those opportunities from that zip code, right? So again, we're not just competing with the people in our office, we're competing with whoever's assigned that specific zip code.
Yeah.
Right. So understand that, we need to make sure that we're just doing the things that they're asking. And it's all possible, guys. A lot of it's in our control. And then if you're having difficulty or if you need more understanding, pop into my Wednesday office hours and I can go ahead and unpack it with you guys.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, couple more minutes, guys. Last thing I wanted to finish off with was, we talked about, we started off the meeting with just talking about being in momentum. And so I wanted to finish off the meeting with just talking about that, right? Because a big part of our success, yeah, I'll share right now. A big part of our success, guys, and success in real estate is keeping that momentum going, right? Has anybody ever felt like they were on fire, right? Like, damn, like I'm busy right now and things are hitting for me, Raise your hand if you've ever felt that before, right? Raise your hand if you've ever felt like, man, I just like can't catch a break right now, right? Or I feel like I'm like in the build stage where like I'm grinding, I'm not really seeing anything happen, right? And so those are all natural occurrences in our business. But what I can tell you is once you get to a place of momentum, right? You got a good routine, you got good habits going, you got some deals working in your favor. That puts a little extra pep in your step, right? That gives you more confidence. So when you're out there, you're talking to people with a different tone. You're leading people to the finish line. So it's important that we stay in momentum, right? If you're having success right now, you need to keep doing what is allowing you to have success, right? And it doesn't only apply to business, it also applies to your personal life as well, right? Because how you show up in your personal life typically is going to transfer over to how you're doing in business, right? If you're having success and good habits and stuff like that in your personal life, those typically go hand in hand with how we show up in business, right? So there's a couple other things that I want to point out just from some of my notes here. I don't need to share my screen. I took some notes down earlier, but momentum is small actions done consistently. It's not motivation. Maybe I'll share my screens for some of you guys. It's not motivation. It's not motivation, it's movement, right? So if you ever feel like, man, I'm not motivated right now, well, I can tell you how to get motivated is just start doing something small and just keep doing it over and over, right? But if you're relying on motivation to win in this business, motivation goes up and down every single day, right? Your feelings change every single day, right? But your commitments to what you got to do every single day, those shouldn't change every single day, right? And that's the true test, right? Of showing up and doing something when you don't feel like doing it. That's where the true motivation comes in, right? Because you prove to yourself that I can make shit happen. I could do hard shit even when I don't feel like it, right? And so I want you guys to keep that in mind because we have the seasonal momentum right now, right? The springtime, right? And then some of us are having like personal wins, right? So how do we keep that going? Why does momentum matter? Because momentum is going to create more opportunities, right? The more momentum you have, more opportunities pop up. Those opportunities turn into conversations. Conversations turn into set, met, signed appointments, and closings, right? When you're in motion, guys, things happen. But when you slow down, everything starts to slow down, right? If you slow down and you take your foot off the gas, what happens to your clients? They start slowing down too, right? Like if you have clients who are hot, but then you start like not following up with them or not calling them or not keeping them looking at properties, they're going to slow down as well, right? So the hardest part is really getting started, but it's really easy to keep it moving forward once you're already started, right? You just got to keep the ball moving forward. Some things that kill motivation, right, that I want you guys to take into account is overthinking. Overthinking stuff, guys, that kills your motivation, right? Just take action, right? Because that whole time you spent thinking about what should I do, my next move, blah, 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 you could have put that towards action and that could have moved the needle forward, right? So I'd encourage you to not overthink, just do the next best step to move your business forward. If you're waiting for the perfect timing to do something, that also kills momentum. If you're getting emotional about your outcomes, right? You're getting pissed off when people don't show up or you're getting upset at clients, stuff like that, that can kill your momentum as well, right? So we got to try to stay as level-headed as possible. If you break your routine for a few days, let me ask you this, right? Who's been on a routine and they're hitting and then all of a sudden they get sick or something and then they take like 4 or 5 days off? Is it hard to get started again? Yeah, right? And so I would say just keep working while you're sick, all right? But even if you're just doing a little bit, but breaking your routine for a few days, whether like it's your calls, it's hard to get started again. But it's easy when you're like just in the routine doing it every single day, right? One bad day can turn into a bad week. A bad week can turn into no pipeline, right? All of a sudden your pipeline's dry. Okay, so how do you stay in momentum? A couple things for business. You want to focus on the simple, repeatable actions. Chital, What's a simple, repeatable action you can do every single day that moves your business forward? Calling 20 people. I love it, right? Simple as that. I don't care what's going on. If I just call 20 people a day, that will solve the problem, right? Because it'll keep me in momentum. Some days will be good days. Some days I'll book an appointment. Some days I won't. But if I just stay on 20 people a day, my business will naturally move forward. I love that. Really simple. So just talking to people every day, right? Following up with your pipeline, setting appointments consistently, right? Working your database, hosting open houses, right? Showing up to training, guys. That's the other thing too, right? Those of you guys that show up to training consistently, kudos to you. But those of you guys that only show up to training when it's convenient, that's a good way to kill your momentum. Why? Why, Jason? Why is that a good way to kill your momentum?
I mean, again, I go back just to the routine of it. And I think that should be a pillar in your business. It's just that growth mindset always learning.
Yeah.
Right. And so there's, a lot of it is, we repeat ourselves a lot, guys. You guys have heard a lot of the same things I've said many times, but there's always something new that you can gain from being part of a training, or there's a place where you can also contribute and build relationships. So I think, again, I think our role is to really create that environment for you guys to have success. And one of those things is being in training.
Being in training, right? Blanca doesn't need to be in every training, guys. But Blanca is at 99.9% of the trainings that we have, right? And she may like not hear anything, and then one little thing she hears, she's like, all right, that was my takeaway from this training, right? We hear her win, we see her win, right? But she's at every training. So I want you to think like, is that a consistent pillar in my business? That keeps you in the game, that keeps you moving forward, that keeps you sharp, right? And so to stay in momentum in business, guys, you have to keep it boring, but consistent, right? Sometimes it's not fancy, it's not fun. You got to make it fun. But being consistent sometimes could be boring, right? But I want you to always think like, how can I keep my business moving forward today? What can I do today that's just going to allow the needle to move just a little bit forward, right? Because if you slow down, your clients slows down, your business slows down. Okay, a couple more points, guys, and then we're done. How to stay in momentum personally, right? Because like we said, personally is going to also affect how you show up professionally. Getting your workouts in, guys. We should all be doing some form of exercise. You don't have to be a bodybuilder or anything like that, but going for a walk, whatever it is that you like to do to challenge yourself physically, there should be something in your business, right? Your sleep and energy matter. If you are not sleeping, guys, that is going to catch up to you. Sorry to say, but your body, right? Like you're going to burn the gas, right? You got to sleep. Starting your day with intention. When you wake up, do you have a plan? This is how I'm going to attack the day, right? Limiting your distractions, right? Like if you really want to hit these personal goals and these business goals and you got stuff that's distracting you, people, drama, family members, right? Stuff like that. Other things outside, right? That are distractions. Cut those bad boys off, right? Staying organized, right? Also keeps you in momentum, right? If you have a routine you follow or a checklist or something like that, that's going to keep you moving forward. Okay, last couple things and then we're done. Simple rule that I would recommend for everybody is never miss twice, right? Let's say you were supposed to make calls today. Something happened. You couldn't make calls. You better make sure you don't miss tomorrow, right? Because when you miss 2 days in a row, it's really easy for that to become like 3 days in a row, 4 days in a row, 5 days in a row. But if you have a non-negotiable rule with yourself that I don't miss twice, like I don't miss my workouts twice, or I don't miss my call session twice, or I don't miss training twice, and that just becomes your non-negotiable, you will be more consistent by default, right? So never miss twice. If you fall off one day, that's okay. We're human. Get back on the next day, right? Closing thoughts. You don't need to do everything. You just need to keep moving, right? The agents who win are not necessarily the most talented, I can tell you that, but they are the most consistent, right? Stay in motion, stay in momentum, and the results will follow. That's all I got for you guys. Let's clap it up, guys.